Okay, this is the calculator section for practice test 7. Okay, number 1 here, feeding information for boarded pets. So we have our data for the pets. The table shows the kinds of foods that are fed to the cats and dogs currently boarded at a pet care facility. What fraction of the dogs are fed only dry food? So what fraction of dogs, so there are 25 dogs, are fed only dry food? Well, 2 of them are fed only dry food. So that's 2 out of 25. That should be answer choice B. Yes. So what fraction of the dogs? Well, it's 2 out of 25 dogs are fed dry food, only dry food. No one should get that one wrong. All right, number 2, which of the following expressions is equivalent to the one above? So we can do the Boolean check on the calculator with this one. But let's do it by hand first. So you would have x squared minus 3, and then we need to distribute our negative. So that becomes plus 3x squared minus 5. So we have 4x squared minus 8, which is going to be answer choice A. Okay, but it's definitely possible to screw that up. So we do want to try the Boolean check. If we have time, that one's, you know, this is one that's pretty simple. You might not want to check this one, but let's just go through the process. Okay, so we have what is x squared minus 3 minus negative 3x squared plus 5. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to plug in a number to store as x. So I'm just going to pick 52, control var, right? That's the store button, the STO little button right here, the blue writing above the VAR. So we want to do control VAR, and we're going to store 52 as x. Okay, and now it's going to plug in 52 for whatever expression or equation that we put in. So what was ours? Ours was x squared minus 3. Close parentheses, minus parentheses, I think it was negative 3x squared plus 5. Okay, and then you want to set that equal to answer choice A, which is 4x squared minus 8. We hit enter, and it tells us true, so we know that's the answer. If we try to answer choice B, right, we hit up twice, and then you hit enter to highlight it, or you hit up twice to highlight it, then you hit enter to paste it. Okay, and then when you delete answer choice A, we're going to plug in answer choice B, 4x squared minus 2. You hit enter and you get false. Right? So for the Boolean check, you first need to plug some number in as x. Okay, use control var to get the arrow. So we're storing 52 as x. And what it's doing is plugging in 52 to both sides. And seeing if that equation is true or not. And in this case, for A it was, and then you can just be done. Once you get true, you can move on to number 3. Okay, but if it was false, then you'd have to hit up twice, highlight it, enter, then change the answer choice. Okay, number 4. A market researcher selected 200 people at random from a group of people who indicated they liked a certain book. The 200 people were shown a movie based on the book and then asked whether they liked or disliked the movie. Of those surveyed, 95% said they disliked the movie. Which of the following inferences can appropriately be drawn from this survey result? At least 95% of people who go to see the movies will dislike the movie. Right, so the sample was 200 people from a group who indicated that they liked the book. So we're only talking about the people who liked the book. We're not surveying everybody. Okay, so it's not 95% of people. So it's not A. At least 95% of people who read the books will dislike the movie. That's a possibility. I don't know about the at least part, that makes it a little confusing. Okay, most people who dislike this book will like the movie. That's definitely not true. And then most people who like this book will dislike the movie. That's probably the answer we want to go with. They sampled 200 people, so it's not at least 95% of people, it would be around 95% of people, plus or minus some sample error. So the best statement is that just saying most of the people who like the book are going to dislike it. Because in the survey, 95 who liked the book didn't like the movie. 95% of the people who liked the book did not like the movie. So this might be true, but this is your safe answer. Number 4 should be, wrong section. 4 should be D, yes. Okay, number 5, which of the following ordered pairs satisfies the expression? So we just want to plug in all 3 and see if they work. So 1 and 1, that's x is 1, y is 1. Okay. Right, so you can get 5 minus 3. Right, is 2 less than 4? Yes. Okay, you can plug in 2 and 5, so 5 times 2 minus 3 times 5 is less than 4. That's 10 minus 15. Is negative 5 less than 4? Yes, it is. And then 3 and 2, 5 times 3 minus 3 times 2 has to be less than 4. That's 15 minus 6 is less than 4. That one's going to be a no. So it's going to be 1 and 2 only, which is going to be choice C. Okay, we can use the calculator on this one. So you can graph this inequality. Okay, what is it? 5x minus 3y is less than 4. So if we go to the graph, okay, we want an inequality, so we need to hit delete. So I'm just going to do relation. Okay, our relation was 5x minus 3y. You get control enter, and we want less than 4. Okay, you hit enter here. Okay, we look at our points. 1, 1 would be right here. That's inside, so that one's good. 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 5 would be right here. So that one's good. And then 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 would be right out here. That's going to be outside the line. So you can graph it. That's a great way to do it. Or we can do it out by hand. Okay, so it's going to be C. Number 6, in the equation ax plus 3 squared equals 36, a is a constant. If x equals negative 3 is one solution to the equation, what is a possible value of a? So we have ax plus 3 squared, right? That's really ax plus 3 times ax plus 3. Right, and from there we just really need to solve for a. So we can plug in negative 3 here for x. Right, we can do negative 3a plus 3, and then negative 3a plus 3 equals 36. Okay, and then you can graph that if you want. Graphing it would be a good way. Again, just use x instead of a, and then it should be able to give you the possible values for, or set it equal to 0 first, subtract 36 from this side, and then you could graph it, and then you'd be looking for the zeros. That would be your answers for a. Okay, if we do it by hand though, we want to multiply, so negative 3a times 3a is going to give us 9a squared. Okay, minus 9a minus 9a plus 9 equals 36. I'm going to divide by 9, so you get a squared minus 9. I'm sorry. A squared minus a plus 1 equals 4. Right, divide everything by 9. Combine like terms, you got a squared minus 2a plus 1 equals 4. Subtract 4 from both sides, you got a squared minus 2a minus 3 equals 0. And then from here you can do your x method. We need something that multiplies to -3 and adds to -2. So that's -3 and +1. So we're going to have a minus 3, a plus 1. So then we're going to get a equals 3 and a equals -1. So +3 and -1. So your possibility there would be C. Okay, but again, the easy way here is to use the calculator. So let's leave all of this off. Again, we plugged in -3 here. So a times -3 is just -3a. We want to move this to the other side, so -3a plus 3, -3a plus 3 minus 36 equals 0. Okay, and then I want to graph that. So let me go to a new document. No, I'm going to add a graph. Okay, again, we don't want this, so we're going to hit delete and just go to relation. Then we can put in -3x plus 3. And it's really squared, right? So squared. Okay, minus 36. Okay, now that I'm doing that though, there's a much easier answer. Okay, then equals 0. Okay, and then you can do menu, analyze graph 0 to find your menu, analyze graph 0. Okay, and then your x-intercepts are -1 and 3. Okay, so those would be your two x-intercepts. But there's a much easier way here now that I'm looking at it. You can simply square root both sides. So you're left with ax plus 3 equals 6. Okay. Or ax plus 3 equals -6. Okay, and then when you plug in, you get you plug your x in here. -3a plus 3 equals 6. -3a plus 3 equals -6, and then you can solve each one. So subtract 3, -3a is going to equal 3. Divide by -3a is going to be -1. Over here you subtract 3, so -3a equals -9. Divide by -3a equals 3. Okay. Any of those ways will work. This is the best way, probably the intended way. Sometimes it takes you a minute to figure it out though. So that's 6. Okay. 7 and 8, we want to refer to the information from the scatter plot. Okay, so the scatter plot above shows the densities of 7 planetoids in grams per cubic centimeters with respect to their average distances from the sun in astronomical units, AU, and the line of best fit is also shown. So let's read question 7 here. According to the scatter plot, which of the following statements is true about the relationship between the planet's average distance from the sun and density. So I'm going to zoom out here for us to do this one. Okay. A is saying planetoids that are more distance from the sun tend to have lesser density. So more distance from the sun have lesser densities. That looks very true. That looks like it's our answer right away. Planetoids that have more distance from the sun have greater densities. No, that line would look like that, so it's not B. The density of a planetoid that is twice as far from the sun as another planetoid is half the density of the other planetoid. So the density of a planetoid that is twice as far is half the density of the other planetoids. So if we go twice as far from the sun, so say from 0 to 2, or let's say from about 1 to 2, you'd be going from about 4.6 to 3.8, that's not half. And then the distance from a planetoid to the sun is unrelated to it. No, there's clearly a relation here. So it's definitely going to be an answer choice A. Okay. Number 8. And I'll read it for us. Again, you should have this in front of you too, though, or at least on your phone or computer. An astronomer has discovered a new planetoid about 1.2 astronomical units from the sun. According to the line of best fit, which of the following best approximates the density of the planetoid? So we're just going to find 1.2 on your x-axis and figure out what the density is. So okay, so 1.2 astronomical units. You go up, it should be about 4.7 or so. Right, the density at 1.2 should be about 4.7. 4.6 looks like a good answer. Yep. And 7 was 8, so we're good. Alright, number 9. Which of the following, based on the equation above, what is true, what is the value of ax plus b? Okay, so move the 6 over to the other side, you get 9ax plus 9b equals 27 if you add the 6. And then here's ax and b, we can simply now divide everything by 9. So those cancel, you get ax plus b, and that's going to equal 3. Fairly straightforward there. Add 6 to the other side, divide everything by 9. So number 9 is 3. Which should be A. Absolutely. Number 10. 10. Okay, Lainey or Lonnie, someone, spent 15% of her 8-hour workday in meetings. How many minutes of her workday did she spend in, how many minutes of her work? So, we gotta convert hours to minutes, so 8 hours. There are 60 minutes in an hour. So we have to do 8 times 60, which is 480, right? We'll use the calculator since it's the calculator version of the test and we want to use it as much as possible. It is 480, right? Hours cancel, so you're left with 480 minutes. And we want to know how much of her workday did she spend in meetings. She spent 15% of it, so 0.15 times 480 is 72 minutes, which is D. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, a software company is selling a new game in a standard edition and a collector's edition. The box for the standard edition has a volume of 20 cubic inches, and the box for the collector's edition has a volume of 30 cubic inches. The company receives an order for 75 copies of the game, and the total volume of the order to be shipped is 1,870 cubic inches. Which of the following systems of equations can be used to determine the number of standard edition games S? So S is standard, and collector's edition C. So standard is S, and then collector's is C that were ordered. So I remember it told us there were 75 copies of the game. So the number of standard edition plus the number of collector's edition is going to be equal to 75. Okay. Which is fine. And then they also give us the volume. So it tells us for standard, the cubic volume was 20 cubic inches. So the total volume for the standard would be 20 times the number of standard, right? The 20 cubic inches times the number of standard edition games. That would give you the total volume for the standard edition games. And then 30 times the collector's edition would tell you the volume of the total amount of collectors. How much room the collector games take up, how much space. And that has to be, or is, 1870. Still see that 1870. So that one looks good. Not sure what D says. Nope. So it looks like it's got to be A. Right? And 75, so if we subtract S on both sides, we get C equals 75 minus S. So number 11's got to be A. And it is. Customer paid $53 for a jacket. After a 6% sales tax was added. What was the price of the jacket before the sales tax was added? Okay, so there was a price. Okay, however much the jacket was worth, and then you got to pay a sales tax on it. Remember, it's 1 plus the rate. Right, so in this case, it's going to be 1 plus, right? 6% is 0.06. And then after the tax, the jacket was $53. So it's going to be 1.06 times the original price equals the new price. So then we just divide 53 by 1.06 and you get $50. The original price was $50. Yes. Okay, so 6% is 0.06. Right, but we're not taking 6% of the price, we're adding an additional 6%. So you can think of it as the price plus P times 0.06 if you want. Right, but again, that's just going to give you a 1.06 P. Okay. And then when you add that on, that tax on, then you get the original price, or the final price. So she paid 53 because the original price had a 6% tax put on it. And then divide both sides by 1.06. Okay, 13. Teresa's running speed and time. All right, let's go through the answer choices here. Teresa ran on a treadmill for 30 minutes and her time and speed are shown on the graph above. According to the graph, which of the following statements is not true? We're looking for the one that is not true. Teresa ran at a constant speed for 5 minutes. Yes, she did. Between 5 and 10 minutes, she ran at a constant speed. So it's not A. We got to minimize this a little bit. Okay. Teresa's speed was increasing for longer than it was decreasing. Well, it was increasing from 0 to 5, and it was increasing from 20 to 25. That was a total of 10 minutes of increasing. She was decreasing from 0 to 20, that's 10 minutes. And then she was decreasing from 25 to 30, that's 5 minutes. So she was decreasing a total of 15 minutes. There was 10 minutes there, 5 minutes there. So that one's not true. That looks like a good answer. Teresa's speed decreased at a constant rate during the last 5 minutes. That's true, right? It's a straight line. So it's decreasing at a constant rate, so that's true. Teresa's speed reached its maximum during the last 10 minutes. Yes, during the last 10 minutes, her speed reached a maximum. So that one is also true. So the one that is not true is B. It was increasing for 10 minutes, decreasing for 15. So it was not increasing longer than it was decreasing. Okay, 14. I would be a little mad if you guys did not get this one right. It's a quadrilateral. We know the four angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. So 45 plus x plus x plus x equals 360. So that's 3x plus 45. Okay, and again, just use menu 3.1 too. I mean, that's your better option. You can just put this in menu 3.1 right away. But if we want to solve it out, 3x is going to equal, that's 315, divide by 3, you get x equals 105. going to be D. 13 was B, 14 is D. Yep, we're good. 15. Right, if 1 cent coins were stacked up on top of each other, the column would be approximately 3 7/8 inches tall. At this rate, which of the following is closest to the number of 1 cent coins it would take to make an 8-inch tall column? So 50 coins made a 3 7/8 inch tall column. We want to know how many coins would make an 8-inch column. Okay, it says approximately. 3 7/8 is approximately 4. So cross multiply, 400 equals 4x. X is going to be 100. Okay, you could find the exact number. It's going to end up being, I don't know, that's, what's 3 7/8? You just would have to put it in. Okay, menu 3, 1. Right, remember this is 3 plus 7/8. So you would have to do, if we did our calculator, if we use menu 3, 1 on this, menu 3, 1. First of all, we want to control divide. Okay, we have 50 in the top. We have 3 7/8 in the bottom, so that's 3 and then control divide 7/8. Okay, and that equals x over, what's it say? 8. And then comma x. Right, so 103. So approximately 100, right? So you can just change the 3 7/8 to a 4. Or you can find the decimal of that and plug it in lots of different ways. But I know you guys have been getting tripped up on the 3 7/8. Okay, so that should be B. 16. You have a system of linear equations. You can use menu 3, 2 on this if you want. I'm going to use substitution first, and then we'll use the calculator to do menu 3, 2. B, multiply 2 on both sides. B is going to be equal to 20. So substitute that in. A minus 20 equals 12. So A is going to be equal 32. 32 plus 20 is going to be 52, which is D. Okay. But we could also use menu 3, 2 here. Menu 3, 2, we have 2 equations. So we have, I'm going to make ax and yb, so it's x minus y equals 12. And the other one is control divide is y divided by 2 equals 10, was it? Yep. And I'm going to hit enter. 32 and 20, and then you do 32 plus 20, and 32 plus 20 is 52. Okay, so either way you pick them. Oops, don't want that. Okay. 17. Those 16 is D, yep, 17. Okay, the equation above models the total cost Y in dollars that a company charges a customer to rent for a truck for 1 day and a truck driver X miles. The total cost consists of the flat fee plus a charge. So our flat fee is $19.99, and then you're charged $1.50 an hour, $1.50 per mile. When the equation is graphed in the XY plane, what does the y-intercept of the graph represent? Well, the y-intercept is $19.99, so it represents a flat fee, right? The slope represents a rate. The y-intercept represents a flat fee or a starting point or an initial value or something like that. Yep, so it's definitely A, the flat fee. And that's your rate. We're being charged $19.99 no matter what, and then $150 a month. 18. All right, 17 was, yep, definitely A. The scatter plot above shows data for 10 charities, along with the line of best fit for the charity with the greatest percent of total expenses spent on programs. Which of the following is the closest to the difference of the actual percent and the percent predicted by the line of best fit? So we're looking for the closest to the difference of the actual minus the predicted. So actual minus predicted. So we're basically looking for which one's closest to the line without even looking at the numbers. So they're giving us numbers? Yes, they're giving us numbers. Which of the following is the closest to the difference of the actual percent predicted by the line of... I'm sorry, the scatter plot above shows data for 10 charities. For the charity with the greatest percent of... for the charity with the greatest percent of total expenses, that's going to be this one up here. Which of the following is the closest to the difference? So the difference, so the best fit line is about right here. So we need to find this distance here. That's about 7%. Okay, so we're looking at the charity, right? The points represent the charities. The charity with the greatest percent of total expenses was this one up here. That's the highest one. And we want to find how far away from the best fit line that actually was. Okay, this is the actual, here's the predicted, what's the gap between them? It's going to be 7. So it's B for 18. Yeah. Okay, for 19 to 20 here, we have Mosteller's formula. A equals square root of HW over 60, and then Current's formula, A equals 4 plus W over 30. The formulas above are used in medicine to estimate the body's surface area in square meters of infants and children whose weight W ranges between 3 and 30 kilograms, and whose height is measured in centimeters. Okay, based on Current's formula, what is W in terms of A? So we're going to use current formulas here. Oops. Which is A equals 4 plus W over 30. So A equals 4 plus W over 30. We basically want to solve for W. We want to get this in terms of W. So we just simply multiply both sides by 30. So you have 30A equals 4 plus W, right? Those cancel. Okay, and then we want to subtract 4. So 30A minus 4 equals W. 19 should be A. It is. Look at that. Just getting W by itself. Okay, 20. Mosteller, I don't know how to say it. Mosteller's and Current's formulas give the same estimate for A. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to square root of HW? So if they give the same estimate for A, that means A is equal to each other. So since these are, we're going to use the transitive property here. Since they're both equal to A, they're equal to each other. So we can do square root of HW over 60 equals 4 plus W over 30, right? They give the same estimate for A. Since they're giving the same estimate, that means those two values are equal. So we set them equal to each other. Okay, multiply both sides by 60. Okay, you're left with HW. And that becomes a 2. Remember, this has to be in parentheses, so you really have 2 times 4 plus W. So the square root of HW is really going to be 8 plus 2W. What did we do wrong? Oh no, right here. 2 plus C. C, right here. Yep. You need that. 2 times 4 plus W. Right, so you just set them equal to each other, so if I get H squared HW by itself, and you have 2 plus 4 times W. 4 plus W. That's 20. Okay, 21. The protein, total protein and total fat for 8 sandwiches. Okay, the scatter plot above shows the number of grams of both total protein and total fat for 8 sandwiches on a restaurant menu. The line of best fit for the data is also shown. According to the line of best fit, which of the following is the closest to the predicted increase in total fat in grams for every increase in total protein? According to the line of best fit, the increase in total fat for every increase in gram. So I'm just going to pick 2 points here. And then we can estimate, right? So that looks like it's about 20 and 35. So I'm going to do 35 minus 20 over 20 minus 10. Okay, that's going to give me 15 over 10, which is basically going to be 1.5 if you put it in the calculator. 3 over 2 is 1.5. So we're looking at, let's look at our answer choices. I'm looking at option C here. Yeah, so just pick any 2 points on here, and you're basically finding the slope. How much is the total fat increasing for every gram of protein? So essentially you're just finding the slope. Rise over run, change in y over change in x. Okay, 22. We gotta zoom out for this one. They give us some percentages of residents with bachelor's degrees in 8 different states. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different states. Okay. A survey was given to residents of all 50 states asking if they had earned a bachelor's degree or higher. The results from 7 states are given in the table above. The median percent of residents who earned a bachelor's degree or higher for all 50 years was 6.95. What is the difference between the median percent of residents who earned a bachelor's degree or higher for those 7 states and the median for all 7 states? Well, they give us the median for all 50 states was 26.95. And now we need to find the median for these states. So median is the middle number. So here's the smallest and the largest. So I'm going to knock those off. The next largest is here. The next smallest is here. So I'm going to knock those off. And then the next smallest and the next largest are there. So the median for this data is 27.9. That's the middle number. Okay, and they want to know what is the difference between the median percent of residents who are in a bachelor for the 7 states, right? So that's 27.9. And then we want to subtract the median for all 50 states, which is 26.95. So we just subtract those. Use your calculators, fine. You're going to get 0.05, which should be, no you're not. 22? Says B. Let's do it. 27.9 minus 26.95, yeah, 0.95, which should be option B. Okay. 23. Okay, a cylindrical can containing pieces of fruit is filled to the top with syrup before being sealed. The base of the can has an area of 75 centimeters squared, and the height of the can is 10 centimeters. If 110 centimeters cubed of syrup is needed to fill the can to the top, which of the following is the closest to the total volume of the pieces of fruit in the can? So there's two things in the fruit, in the can. There's fruit and there's syrup. It's cylindrical. Right, so if we look here, way up, back to the front page, okay, we have a volume for our sphere. Our volume for our sphere is pi r squared h. Okay, we also have an area for a circle, which is pi r squared. So basically our volume formula is the area of the circle times the height. Okay, so pi r squared is the area of the circle. So we're looking at the area of the circle times the height. That's our volume for a cylinder. The area of a circle, which is pi r squared, times the height. Okay, let's go back down then. So we know our volume is area of the circle times the height. Okay, so volume, area of the base is 75 and the height is 10. So the volume of the can is 750 centimeters cubed. Okay, we need 110 centimeters of syrup to fill it to the can to the top. So we need to know the amount of fruit. So remember, there's syrup and fruit in the can. So if we want to find the amount of fruit, we need to subtract 110 from our total. So 750 minus 110 is going to be 640 centimeters squared of fruit, which is C. 23 should be C. Okay, 24. The function above models the height and feet of an object above the ground t seconds after being launched straight up in the air. What does the number 72 represent? It's going to represent where it started. So at time 0, it's going to be 72 feet in the air. The initial height? Yes, that looks like it right away. The maximum height? No, you'd have to find the vertex of that parabola. The initial speed, no. The maximum speed, no. So it's definitely A. Okay. The initial height, t is going to equal 0 here. So that means that's going to be 0. That's going to be 0. So when time is 0, the height is going to be 72. So it's your initial height. A. All right. Energy per gram of typical macronutrients. Okay, the table above gives the typical amount of energy per gram expressed in both foods, calories in kilojoules for the 3 macronutrients in food. If X calories is equivalent to K kilojoules, which of the following is true between the relationship of K and X? So if X food calories is equivalent to K kilojoules, we need to basically make these equal. So if you do 16.7 divided by 4, you need to multiply by 4.175, so let's just say 4.2. We're talking about any of them, so 37.7 divided by 9, 4.2. Okay, and then carbohydrate, you can do 16.7 divided by 4, right? So you're multiplying by 4.2 each time. So that means that the kilojoules are going to be 4.2 times bigger than the x, than the food calories. So you need to multiply x by 4.2 in order for it to equal k. Right. This column is 4.2 times bigger than this column. So that's going to be option B, 25. Kilojoules column is 4.2 times bigger, so you need to multiply the smaller numbers by 4.2 in order to make these two equal. You need to multiply the x's, the calories, the smaller numbers by 4.2. That way those are all equal. So 25 is B. Alright, 26. If the 180 food calories in a granola bar come out entirely from P grams of protein, F grams of fat, and C grams of carbohydrates, which of the following expresses F in terms of P and C? Okay, so it's granola bars, 180 calories. Okay, the ratio in the granola bar in the food is basically 4 to 9 to 4. So we basically want to do 4 P plus 9F plus 4C is going to equal 180 total calories. Right, so we don't know what, it's like we did those problems with the perimeter of a triangle. And it said the ratio of the sides of a triangle are 4 to 1 to 9. And then we did 4x plus 9x equals whatever the perimeter was they gave us. Or 3 angles of a triangle, or the ratio is 3 to 5 to 7, we would do 3x plus 5x plus 7x equals 180. So here we have 180 grams for total amount of calories. We know the ratio of calories is 4 to 9 to 4, so we're going to do 4p plus 9f plus 4c, because we don't know what those actual numbers are. And if we go back to 26, right, we can then, right, it tells us p grams, so we don't know what the multiplier here is. But we know it's something. Right, 4 grams per, I hate these dual problems because you can't see everything. Oh, that's energy per gram, yeah, okay. So 4P represents the energies, so yeah, P represents the per gram, so it's 4 calories per gram, 9 calories per gram, 4 calories per gram. And we add that up and we get 180 calories. Okay, so it says we want to find in terms of F in terms of P and C, so we need to move the 4P and the 4C to the other side. So 9F is going to equal 180. Subtract 4P from both sides, subtract 4C from both sides. And then you want to divide by 9. So F equals 180 minus 4P minus 4C divided by 9. All right, we can divide them all by 9. So F here, 180 divided by 9, use your calculator, is going to be 20. Okay, and then we have minus right, so this right here is going to be minus 4P over 9 minus 4C over 9, which is going to come down to negative 4/9 P minus 4/9 C, and then you pull out a negative 4/9, and you're going to be left with P plus C. So negative 4/9 P plus C, which is going to be option B. Okay, so again, what I did here, right, 180 divided by 9 is 20, and then you have 4P over 9 minus 4C over 9, and then all I simply did was factored out a negative 4/9. So when you factor out the negative 4/9, you're left with p plus c. Negative 4/9 times p is negative 4/9 p. Negative 4/9 c is going to give us negative 4/9 c. Okay, so we just simply factored out a negative 4/9, and you had p plus c left over. So it's going to be b. Okay, the world's population has grown as 27. The world's, what are we doing on time? Really good, really good. The world's population has grown at an average rate of 1.9% per year since 1945. There were approximately 4 billion people in the world, so that's going to be your initial in 1975. Maybe not. Which of the following functions represents the world's population in billions of people T years since 1975? Yeah. So we're going to use 1975 as our base year. So again, final equals initial. Okay, and then you have 1 plus some rate to the T, right? So yeah. So final is what we're looking for. Our initial was 4 billion. Our rate is 1.9, so you got to move the decimal over twice. So that's 0.019 to the T. Okay, and we want to know T years after. Yep, so our final is going to be 4 and then 1.019 to the T. So it should be A. Yes, A. So you have your final equals initial, 1 plus the rate to the T. Right, it's really final equals initial, and then it's 1 plus R over N times NT, right? But in this case, N is just 1 because we're doing it every year, right? But this would be your actual formula. But we're just doing it 1 year, so it just gets reduced here. All right, 28. We have a line, it looks like. In the XY plane above, a point not shown with the coordinates S and T lies on the graph. So, could be way up here, S comma T. It's a linear function, and if S and T are positive integers, what is the ratio of T to S? So T is your Y and S is your X. If you look at our slope, we're starting at 0, 0, so we're going over 3 and up 6, so our slope here is going to be rise over run, 6 over 3, right, or 2 over 1. So every time we go up 2, we're going down 1, right 1. So we go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, which means all of these Y values are going to be twice as big. So if you did a point here, you would have 4, 8. You would have 5, 10. Down here, you would have 2, 4, and then 1, 2. So your Y value is always going to be twice as big as your X value on this line. So the ratio of the Y value to the X value is going to be 2 to 1. Your Y value is going to be twice as big as your X value. T is your Y, right? This would be X, Y. So T to S, your Y value is twice as big as your X each time here. $28, maybe, I hope that's the answer. C it says, and we did put C, good. Good. That was 28. 2 more multiple choice, and then we got the free response. All right, so we never got to circles. So a circle in the XY plane is given by the equation. Which of the following is not in the interior of the circle? So basically, your formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, so your vertex here is going to be negative 3, 1. Let's draw this again. Right, so negative 3, 1 is the center of your circle. Okay, negative 3, positive 1. The radius is going to be 5, right? R squared equals 25. That means r is going to equal 5. So if we go 1, 2, if we go 5 to the right, right, the radius goes from the center to the circle. So if we go 5 to the right, we're going to be at 2, 1. If we go 5 to the left, we're going to be at negative 8, 1. If we go up 5, we're going to be at negative 3, 6. And if we go down 5, we're going to be at negative 3, negative 4. We kind of can draw our circle there. Negative 7, 3. Looks like it might not be in there. Let's see, negative 7, 3. Maybe, it's a possibility. Negative 3, 1 is in there. 0, 0 is definitely in there. And then 3, 2 is definitely not. So our answer here is going to be 3, 2. 7, 3 looks like it's going to probably be somewhere in here. Okay. All right, let's see if we can graph this on the calculator. Okay, let's see if we can graph this on there. I'm honestly not sure. I didn't think to try that. Let's do it. X plus 3 squared. Okay. So let's go to the graph. New document. No. Delete this. We don't want that, right? Just go to relation. So we want x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 25. Look at that, it graphs it for us. Okay, and we can check our answer choices. Okay, negative 7, 3. It's right there, definitely in the circle. Negative 3, 1 is definitely in the circle. 0, 0, definitely in the circle. And then 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is right here, definitely out of the circle. So it's definitely going to be answer choice D. Definitely going to be D. All right, the manager of an online news service received the report above on the number of subscriptions sold by the service. The manager estimated that the percent increase from 2012 to 2013 would be double the percent increase from 2013 to 2014. So this increase is double the one from 2013 to 2014. How many subscriptions did the manager expect would be sold in 2014? So let's first find the percent increase here. So percent increase is final minus initial, right? Final minus initial divided by initial. Right, we've gone over that ad nauseum here. So final is 5880 minus 5600. Okay, divided by the initial, which was 5600. And then we want to multiply by 100. Okay, 5% or 0.05. Right, so 5% or 0.05 is our decimal. Okay, it says the manager estimated that the percent increase from 2000 to 2013 would be double the percent increase from 2013 to 2014. So if this was 0.05, this increase is going to have to be half of that, right, in order to make that double. So we want to then take 0.05 and divide by 2. And that gives us 0.025. So that needs to be our percent increase. So we need to take that number, right, and multiply 5880 times, again, 1 plus 0.025. Okay. So let's add 1 to that, and then multiply by 5880, and we get 6,027. Right, so it's going to be 5880 times 1.025. Right, so our percent increase was 0.05. Now our percent increase is only half of that, 0.025. So that's this times 1.025. Right, or you can do 5880 plus 5880 times 0.025. Right, you could also do 5880 plus then your increase would be 5880 times 0.025. That would give you the same answer as this. Okay, let's just double check that. 30 is B. Yes, and then let's do the free response. Okay, in 1954, the California gold rush, each ounce of gold was worth $20, and the largest known mass of gold was found in California was worth $62,400 in that year. What was the weight in pounds of this mass? Okay, so 1 ounce is worth $20. How many ounces would $62,400 be worth? Alright, so we can menu 3-1, you can just use menu 3-1, or you can cross multiply. But again, menu 3-1 is fine. 20x, that's going to be 62,400. So x is going to be 62,400 divided by 20. It's 3,120, and that's ounces. Okay, they want what is the weight in pounds. So we need to convert 3120 ounces into pounds. How many pounds are an ounce? 1 pound is in 16 ounces, so 1 pound is 16 ounces. So we need to those ounces then cancel out, so we gotta do 3120, right, this is our stoichiometry, 3120 divided by 16, it's gonna be 195 pounds of gold. Seems extraordinarily high. I would double check my work, but I have the answers, so yeah, 195 pound gold piece. I mean, that's a lot of money though for 1854. Okay, so I would check, yeah, no, we're good. 3,120 should be 1 over 20, that seems right. Yep, 195. 16 ounces in a pound, so multiply across. 3120 divided by 16. 32 is right here. We don't have the question though. Okay, but line T is shown in the XY plane below. What is the slope of line T? Okay, that's fine. Well, pick any 2 points you want, right? Slope is rise over run, or change in y over change in x. So our slope is going to be, I'm going to pick, I don't know, these 2 points. So 3/5 minus -2 over 9 minus 5/2. Okay, and just use the calculator. 3 divided by 5. Right, and then minus a -2. It's going to be 13 over 5. Okay, and then 9 minus 5 divided by 2. It's going to be 13 over 2. And you can do 13 divided by 5. Okay. Divided by, put parentheses, 13 divided by 2. Should get 2 over 5. Or you can multiply by 1 over 13 and 1 over 13. And you get 1/5 over 1/2 and then multiply by 2 over 2, and you get 2 over 5. Or just put it all in the calculator. Okay, but you should get 2/5. At least I got 2/5. Let's check the answer. That is 32. 2/5 or 0.4, yeah. Put it all in and give a decimal. Remember when you fill this in, it's got to look like this. So you got to bubble in 2, the dash, and then the 5. Or you could bubble in 0.4, so you bubble in the dash, and then you bubble in 4. Okay, the score on a trivia game is obtained by subtracting the number of incorrect answers from twice the number of correct answers. The player has answered 40 questions and obtained a score of 50. How many questions did the player answer correctly? So the score in a trivia game is obtained by subtracting the number of correct by incorrect. So I'm going to do correct C and I, right? C is going to be correct, I is incorrect. The number of incorrect from twice the number of correct. So 2 times the number of correct minus the incorrect gives you your score. And you got a score of 50. Okay. And he answered 40 questions, so that means C plus I is going to equal 40, right? The number of questions correct plus the number of questions incorrect is 40 questions total. Right, he answered 40 questions, so the number correct plus the number of incorrect is going to equal 40. 2 times his correct answers minus his incorrect got him a score of 50. Menu 3-2, you got 2 equations, just use menu 3-2 to solve for C and I. If you do it by hand, I would just do elimination. So you would end up with 3C, the I's would cancel, is 90, and then C is going to be 30. Okay, but if you want to use menu 3-2, we can certainly do that. Menu 3-2. You have 2x, so x will be the number of correct, so 2x minus y, the incorrect, equals 50, and then x plus y is 40. Right, and then right there you get 30. The number of correct is 30, the incorrect is 10. 34, point C is the center of the circle. What is the fraction of the area of the circle of the shaded region? So there's 360 degrees in a circle. So we're looking at 100 divided by 360. You just put that in the calculator. And it gives you 5 over 18, which is also 2.2. 5 over 18 is what I got. 34, 5 over 18, or you could also put point. So if you're going to do this as a, so this is what I got for a decimal. If you can see that, there's a blurry. Am I in the way? There we go. Okay, you need to use up the entire line there. You can't round it off. So you would need to put in 0.27. Right, that's 4 places, 4 things you'd have to bubble in. 0.2, you could round it. You could do 0.277, you could do 0.28, 27, and then you could round it. Right, so let me show you again what I had. Okay, all 4 of those would be acceptable answers. What would not be acceptable would be 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, 0.2, 0.28. Okay, it doesn't tell you to round, so you need to use up all 4 of those bubbles. Okay, but it's easier if you just do the fraction, because then you would put in 5, the slash mark, and then 1 and 8. 35. Menu 3-2. Right, you have 2 equations. You can just use menu 3-2 on this one. Although it's not linear equations. Let's try it by hand, and then we'll see what menu 3-2 gives us. Okay, but we can use substitution here. So 4 minus x equals x squared minus 4x plus 4. Menu 3-2 is not going to work because they're not linear equations. They need to be linear equations for menu 3-2, so that's not going to work. But we can use substitution. So 4 minus x in for that y right there. So basically set them equal to each other because they're both equal to y. Then we have a quadratic, so we want to get everything on one side. So subtract 4 from both sides and add x to both sides. Right? So we're going to end up with 0, and you have x squared minus 3x. And those actually cancel as well. Okay, and then you can graph this if you want, or you can just factor out an x. So x equals 0, or x equals 3. Those would be your two x-intercepts. So basically those are your two solutions. X could be 0 or x could be 3. Okay. Yeah, menu 3-2 is a system of linear equations. But if you graph that, again, if you're not good at factoring, you don't know how to factor, we can just, once you put them equal to each other, we can graph it. So let's try that. Calculator. Graph. Again, it would just be the relation. Oh wait. Right. So we want to find the x-intercept of x squared minus 3x is basically. Let me just do it first. X squared minus 3x. Okay. And then again, menu, analyze graph, 0. Menu, analyze graph, 0. And so, we have to, you need, when you're going to graph it on an xy plane, you need an x and a y, so you need two variables. So we're basically going to say that this is y equals x squared minus 3x, and we're going to look for when y equals 0. So when y equals 0, x equals what? Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing. And so the possibilities are 0 and 3. Okay, 36, we have a geometry problem. Okay, so in the figure above, the tangent of B. So tangent is, again, we haven't gotten to this, that's what our next unit was. Tangent of B, so tangent is, tangent, although you should have been exposed to this in algebra 2. Tangent, so tangent of whatever is opposite over adjacent. So the ratio of this side to this side is 3 to 4. Okay, we know BC is 15 and DA is 4. We want to find the length of D. Well, you can solve for B, so you can do inverse tangent. So it's hard to show here, but we go to the calculator. Okay, your trig functions are here. We do inverse tangent, and we put in our ratio. Whoops. Okay, let me just make a new document. Inverse tangent of 3 divided by 4. Okay, and that's going to give you 36.8 degrees. Okay. So our triangle, let's bring the triangle back up. 36.8 degrees. want to find x. We could now find, so the deal here is that it's a, I mean, I'm sorry, because we haven't done this yet, and so I don't really know how to explain it to you guys in the best way. But the idea here is that we have a 3, 4, 5 triangle, okay? The ratio of the opposite to adjacent is 3 to 4, right? So you have 3 to 4 to 5. So your ratio of sides is going to be 3 to 4 to 5. So if this side is 15, okay, that means this side has to be 9 and this side has to be 12. Okay, because the ratios need to match up, 3 to 4 to 5. Okay, and then if this is 4, that makes this piece right here 8. So again, the sides have to be 3 to 4 to 5. So the ratio of this side to this side has to be 3 to 4, right? So 3 to 4 has to equal x over 8. Okay, so 4x is going to have to equal 24, so x is going to equal 6. Okay, and then that would equal 10. So it's 3 to 4 to 5, 3 to 4 to 5, the ratio is 3 to 4 to 5. Okay. You can also use the tangent functions to find the degrees here, to find the length at 9, and then to find the length of 12, and you could go from there. So you could have then used cosine of 36.8 equals adjacent over 15, multiply 15 by the cosine of 36.8, that would have gotten you 12. Then you could do 12 minus 4 is 8, and then you could have done the tangent of 36.8 equals x over 8, and then 8 times that tangent. So that would have worked as well. But the ratios is what you're supposed to be using. Okay, number of contestants, score and day. The same 20 contestants on each of 3 days answered 5 questions in order to win a prize. Each contestant received 1 point for each correct answer. The number of contestants receiving a given score on each day is shown in the table above. What was the mean score of contestants on day 1? Okay. Well, 2 contestants got 5 points. 3 contestants got 4 points. 4 contestants got 3 points. 6 contestants got 2 points. 2 contestants got 1 point, and 3 contestants got 0 points. So if we add up the total number of points everyone got, we have 2 times 5 plus 3 times 4 plus 4 times 3 plus 6 times 2 plus 2 times 1 plus 0 times 3. You get 48 total points. Okay, there were 20 contestants, so we can divide by 20, and that's 12 over 5, okay, which is also 2.4. Okay, so we take that total number, which was 48, and divide by the total number of contestants, and that gives us 2.4, or 12 over 5. Okay, no contestant received the same score on 2 different days. If a contestant is selected at random, what is the probability that the selected contestant received a score of 5 on day 2 or day 3, given that the contestant received a score of 5 on one of the 3 days? So, no contestant received the same score on 2 different days. If a contestant is selected at random, what is the probability that the selected contestant received a score of 5 on day 2 or 3, given that the contestant received a score of 5 on one of the days? So that contestant scored a 5 on one of these days. We want to know the probability, and he can't have done it on multiple days, so we want to know the probability that was on day 2 or 3. Well, there were 5 people that did it, and 7 total, so the possibility of him is 5 over 7. Given no other information, 5 out of 7 would be our answer, I think. 38? Yes, 5 over 7, or 0.714. Okay. Yep, and that's the calculated part of practice test number 7.